I didn't bust a window. I didn't put sugar in his tailpipe. I didn't flatten a tire. I didn't do anything like that.
Okay.
I just want the court to know that we were acquaintances. Um, this is not anything other than somebody that is a bitter ex. And he's mad at me for whatever reason. Same reason he took out. Same thing on Miss Salgui's. And really, he's aggressive most of these events.
Swear both parties in. If you would both please unmute. And I don't know, okay. Can everybody unmute for me? There we go. If you both please raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury? Mr. Griffin?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And Mr. Solomon?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to adjust my lights a little bit. So what we will do is the petitioner will testify first and present any evidence that he wishes to, and any witnesses if he has any, and then the respondent will be able to testify, or will be able to ask questions if he has any about what was testified to through me. It won't be direct back and forth. If you have any questions, knowing that you will also have a chance to testify yourself and present any evidence that you wish to. Once the petitioner is finished testifying, then the respondent, when you will have a chance to testify, and the petitioner will be able to ask any questions he wishes of you through me regarding any testimony that you have given. Once I have heard all testimony and evidence, I will apply the law to the evidence that was presented and make a determination about whether there has been sufficient evidence by preponderance of the evidence that stalking has occurred and there's a reasonable likelihood of it occurring in the future. Okay. So at this point, Mr. Griffin, I will start with you, sir. If you could tell me, how do you know Quinlan Solomon?
We was acquaintances at one point in time.
Okay. How long have you known him?
Maybe 5-6 years.
I will swear both parties in. If you would both please unmute. And I don't know, okay. Can everybody unmute for me? There we go. If you both please raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury? Mr. Griffin?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And Mr. Solomon. So now you said you've known him for 5 to 6 years.
Yes, ma'am.
So what, and do you know him to live in DeKalb County?
I'm sorry?
Do you know him to live in DeKalb County?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So why did you file a petition for a protective order alleging that he is stalking you?
Mr. Solomon follows me around town. He's trespassed at my home. He was written on my car. So this is why I took out the petition on him.
Okay, so
he comes to my events. He's assaulted me.
Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna take you back through each thing briefly.
Yes,
so when you say, so at some point in y'all's acquaintanceship, did you stop being friends?
Yes.
Okay, and at some point, did you tell him, I do not want to have any contact with him?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, around when would that have been?
2021.
Okay. So after you told him that you did not want any contact with him, take me through what happened.
The first incident I can recall was back in June 2021. He came up and greeted me at a concert, me and my buddy and
It
my
says
daughter.
2022.
Okay,
man,
hold on,
not
stop.
21.
Okay, sir, you will have a chance to testify and you also have a chance to ask questions, but this is not the time to comment.
Okay.
If he's saying something you don't agree with, he gets to say his say, you get to say your say. You can ask questions about it or tell the court why you think the other party is wrong when it's your turn to testify. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, man. It was great. The concert was in 2022, and he came up and greeted me and my daughter and my buddy, asked how we was doing, and we just looked at him and carried on, and he left. And as the concert was letting out, he became belligerent with me, and had some remarks about my child.
Okay. So did you have any continued communications with him after that, or was there some point that he came and you had contact with him otherwise?
No.
All right. So what was the next the next incident or anything that happened?
A couple days later, I bumped into him at Miss Selgas's house from the previous case.
Okay. So you went to her house and he was there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So at that point, y'all are there somewhat mutually because you went to that location.
No, because I'm sorry, we got physical at the concert, at the end of the concert. It was an altercation.
Okay. So there was an physical altercation at the concert.
It
And
was
then a few days later, go ahead.
It was the sort of I felt that the altercation he incited, instigated, and my purpose for going to Miss Selgas's house was to tell her to speak with him in regards to leaving me alone.
Okay. So again, this is, and I hear what you're saying, that you told her to tell him to leave him alone, but he's there when you get there. And so
Yes,
what
ma'am.
happens?
This is the part where the storylines get great. It's very late at night. Several people are there and inebriated. I asked Miss Selgas to come outside in a very close quarters. She trips over someone as she's inebriated and falls into the wall. That's when Mr. Solomon decides to. He didn't even do nothing at the time. Another buddy of ours was trying to mediate that situation, and he already knew from the previous night before, and several other minor incidents, just loads and loads of micro incidents that we don't get along. So just leave me alone. Don't do anything. Don't come around antagonizing me. Don't come around talking to me, speaking, trying to be cordial with me.
Okay, hold on. Are you talking about what was going on then?
Yes, ma'am.
Or are you just saying this now in general?
No, he knew the demeanor at the time when I was at his house. I didn't expect him to be there. I probably that I know he was there.
So but you saw that he was there and you stayed there. So I can't necessarily continue that as an act of stalking. So
this
tell me.
You asked me what happened that night. This is not stalking.
Okay. I'm just saying. So then was there an altercation that night as well?
Yes.
Okay. So after that, tell me, was there ever any mutual contact between y'all, or tell me kind of what he has done that has been a communication to you, coming to your house without your consent, that sort of thing?
Yes, ma'am. He comes. He follows me.
So when's the last time he followed you?
Approximately first or second week of June.
Okay. Tell me what happened on that day.
I saw him at a local bar. He comes by with antagonistic behavior, sits close to me. He continues to follow me around the club, positioning himself near me. And when I leave, he leaves and follow me home.
So let me say this. Who was at the club first?
I was.
All right. And where were you?
Buteco.
I mean, where were you in the club?
I was sitting on the patio out front.
Okay. So then he gets there about how long after you had been there?
Maybe 2 hours.
Okay. And then how long were y'all both there at the same time?
When he came, I wrapped my party up and left. So I was,
okay.
He was there about 10 minutes. We was there about 10 minutes simultaneously.
Okay. And so you left shortly after he arrives.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened?
He followed me home. He got in his car and followed me home.
All right. What car was he driving?
There's testimony of him admitting this. I've submitted a whole phone call to him threatening me, and following me, and what have you.
Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. You said you sent that into the court?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So before that incident, what was the time? What other times this year has he instigated contact with you?
February. I'm sorry. If I'm not mistaken, April.
And you can approximate.
March and April. The first Saturday of March and April.
Okay, what happened on those days?
So I have an event that Mr. Solomon likes to frequent. And he just carried around his antagonistic behavior.
Okay, so hold on. Let me ask you this, because I hear the antagonistic and the aggression, but you have events. Is he welcome at these events?
It's a public event. I don't feel I have the say-so to tell him where he can go and where he cannot go if it's a public event, and I don't have grounds to substantially omit him from being there.
Have you told him that you don't want him to talk to or approach you in any way?
Yes.
Okay. So what happens when he shows up at these events?
He just has antagonistic behavior for the first two times.
Tell me what that looks like.
Staring at me, coming too close to me, eyeballing me, rolling his eyes at me.
Does he say anything?
No.
And when you say he comes too close to you, say it's over what time period is he there? And out of that time period, how long is he around you?
Maybe about minutes at a time, off and on throughout the evening.
Have you asked him to step away?
No, I've asked him several times before in the past, stay away from me.
Okay, so tell me about those previous occasions before he showed up at your events.
He knew back in 21 that I wasn't dealing with him anymore. I told him that I don't want to speak to him.
Okay, and so between 21 and March and April of this year, what things have happened?
So at an event in March, he took my glasses off my face, shoved me and threw a drink on me.
Okay, when that was one of the events you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am. And in the following month, he assaulted me again. That came back to the same event where, so after the first time he assaulted me, he was notified not to come back, and he came back. Security,
Okay.
I told security, say he can come back to the party. It's a monthly event.
Okay. And then he came back,
He did.
and what happened?
We got into an altercation again.
When he showed back up after being asked to leave, did you ask him to leave again?
I said, "What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here." He said, "I can be where the F I want to be.
Okay.
You don't run this. You don't run this event."
Was security involved then?
At the time, no, it was late in the evening, and security was nowhere to be found during that. We got into it while I was looking for the security.
All right. You mentioned trespassing and verbal threats. Can you tell me more about any of those that you've outlined in your petition?
Yes, I've submitted video where he leaves things on my car, which is parked inside a secure gate. He's done that several times. I've submitted video of him leaving, messing with my vehicle at Pure Taqueria on Highland Avenue. You have that video. You have an audio report. I'm sorry, ma'am.
Just one second. Let me see. Madam Clerk, do you have any of these exhibits?
No, Judge, not on this case. 23 PO 6397.
All right. When do you know when you submitted them, sir?
I submitted them with the TPO request, ma'am.
Okay. So was it?
I feel like Ayana said she viewed some of the footage.
Okay. So it may have been.
Yeah, did you send it to the Women Resource Center?
Yes.
I don't know what their process is, but you're saying you have them. So tell me, where's this video from, and what is it showing?
Mr. Solomon sells scarves as a hobby, and he left our video record him a drink and a scarf being left on the hood of my roof of my car, approximately like June 12th. It's like June 3rd or June 12th. And
This year?
Yes, ma'am. This year, 2023. He has he put a cup on my car a later date in June, and late June, I think it was June 30th, he put another cup on my car, and he dumped a drink on my car and turned the cup upside down. You have that footage as well. Man.
Okay, so I may not have it. Ms. Johnson may have had it, or the Women's Resource Center may have had it, but I don't look at anything ahead of time, and it has to be filed with the clerk. But you're saying, so where was your car when these things happened?
The first two times it was my parking space at my home, and the third incident was at on Highland Avenue, right in front of Kill Me Crazy, which is where I obtained the video footage from of him doing it.
And so you saw him on video doing that?
Yes, ma'am.
So is there any reason for both of y'all to be at Kill Me Crazy at the same time?
I was at the restaurant next door to it, but to answer the question, no.
Okay. And has he seen you in your car before enough times to know that you would think he would know what your car is?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
All right. What's the significance? I mean, to you, does this place you in fear for your safety?
Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned that something about your vehicle being vandalized in July.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me what that's about?
He wrote graffiti on my bumper.
How do you know it was him?
It's his handwriting. I've seen several times before in graffiti.
What does it say?
PDGC Eastside.
And what does that mean to you?
The scars he sells is a brand called Prostitutes Don't Give Change, and he goes by the nickname of Eastside Q, and that was he wrote on my vehicle. PDGC Eastside.
And where was your car when this happened?
It was in the parking lot of my home.
Is this the same parking lot it was in before when you saw the videos of him placing the cup on your car and things?
No, ma'am.
Oh, it's a different parking lot. So what parking lot was it where he left the scarf on your car?
That's my home.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. This was the same parking lot, just a different time?
Yes, yes. The footage is from a restaurant.
I
All of
understand.
it's at my home.
Okay. And what color was that spray painted?
It's, black marker paint.
Okay, all right. And have you reported any of these incidents to the police?
I started criminal proceedings in Fulton County,
Mhm.
but I was kind of doing this, the stalker protection orders and the criminal actions at the same time. And I diverted my attention to the stalking orders first, but I'm still seeking criminal charges against Solomon.
All right. You say that he's threatened you and your child. Can you explain, was that on the same date that that you're alleging he vandalized the vehicle?
This was around July, early July. I can't remember the exact date, but I have a recording of that. I have a recording of that conversation as well.
So you say conversation again, like I've told you before, there back and forth is really one of the things that can limit a stalking.
Well, I
action.
have the recording of him
Okay,
saying.
so tell me what the recording was. Like, how did that conversation happen? If you had told him not to have
So
contact
when I'm asking him what is wrong with you? What do you want from me? Why do you keep following me? Why do you keep stalking me? He responds to, because I can. What are you going to do about it? You're not going to do anything about it. And I'm like, listen, Q, leave me alone. Like you're putting me in fear. Like, I don't want you around me. I don't want you around my family. And you put me in a situation where I might need to protect myself. And he says, so what are you saying? Are you threatening me? Are you going to kill me? Are you killing me? Like, I don't need you coming between me and my son. And I have on recording that he would kill me in front of my son. And he better not get in between us.
All right. Okay. What's the last contact of any kind that he's had with you?
Whenever my recording was that I got that last conversation. Briefly before I put the petition in. I put the petition in like 2 days later.
Okay. All right. And are you asking this court to extend this order for 12 months?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you in fear for your safety otherwise?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. So at this point, Mr. Solomon, you can unmute and I will, so that again, this isn't the point to testify. You'll have a chance to do that. This is a chance for you to ask specific questions about what has been testified to,
Okay.
if you have any. So do you have any questions? And I will ask them for you so there's not any back and forth.
I do.
Okay. What's your first question?
When I saw him at the concert, did I offer him a drink and did he accept?
Okay. And can you give me which concert? It sounds like there's been a couple of events.
It was
What time frame?
it was only one concert. He just had the wrong date. It was he put on here. It was 6/17/22.
All right. So, Mr. Griffin, when he saw you at the concert on that occasion that you were talking about, did he offer you a drink and you accept?
He offered me a drink. I didn't accept it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next question.
At Miss Salgui's house, did you or did you not throw her and she did not trip?
Okay. So let me do two things.
Uh-huh.
I'll allow you to ask the question because he has testified to something about it.
Yes, ma'am.
But whether there was a tripping or a throwing against another party is not necessarily evidence of whether there have been acts of stalking committed by you against him. Okay. So I'll allow you to ask that question, sir. So ask it one more time for me. Are you asking, did she trip or did he throw her into the wall?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, sir, did Miss Salguez trip or did she fall? Did you throw her into the wall?
She tripped, ma'am.
Okay. Next question.
Was I at Miss Salgui's house before you? Did you know I was there?
Was are you talking about the occasion? The same occasion.
Yes, ma'am.
Was Mr. Solomon at the house before you got there on that day?
Yes.
Okay. Next question.
The second question was, did I know he was there, which I did not.
Okay.
All right. In the phone call, in the recording of our conversation, did you say you were going to kill me first?
No.
Okay, next question. I should have asked that one, but y'all are being polite, so I appreciate it. All right, next question.
When you had got the recording of our conversation, did you or did you not come to where I was to have that conversation?
Yes.
Okay, so hold on. So when you said you had the conversation, you went out to see Mr. Solomon, you met him somewhere?
Yes.
Okay. So you didn't say that on direct. Where did you meet him and how did y'all end up meeting?
He was at a bar. I found him. I didn't go to meet him. I happened to find him at a bar. And when
Now,
I
how
saw
did you find him at a bar?
I was going to the bar.
And so you happened upon him at the bar?
Yes.
And so when you saw him, you didn't leave. How did the conversation happen?
I asked him what was his issue with me. Why does he keep following me? Why does he keep antagonizing me? And he said I was
Okay.
lame. He wanted me to tell the truth.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Next question.
Is the way you found me from Elaine Gear?
No.
Okay.
All right. So he answered that one before I could ask it, but the answer is no. That's okay.
Okay. On the Saturday nights that he's talking about in March and April at Amaza, did I speak to you at all?
Yes. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. So so he's asking on the Saturday nights y'all were at that bar, did he speak to you at all? And you said yes. What did he say?
He didn't ask me what time frame he speak. He didn't ask me to initiate the speaking to me or whatnot. But
I'm just asking, what did he say? You said he spoke to you.
he said I can be where I want to be.
Okay. All right, next question.
Your Honor, those aren't the nights I'm talking about. I was talking about the ones in January, February, and March that he puts on this paper where I was stalking him at these parties.
Okay, so he's talking about some incidents in January, February, and March.
Yes, ma'am.
The same ones he said they were open up to the public. And he said already that I didn't talk to him, that I was being
Okay,
antagonistic.
this isn't the time for testimony, but
right.
he said that you said you could be wherever the F you wanted. He's already testified to that in direct.
Now-
If that's a different time you're talking about.
That's a different time.
Okay, so tell me what times you're talking about.
The times I'm talking about is in where he has on here where I was stalking him January 7th, February 4th, March 4th, where he was saying the first Saturdays, and he was saying that I was being antagonistic, but I didn't say anything to him.
Okay. What is your question about those dates? Did you? Okay,
I was just saying that I was asking you to ask him, did I do anything to him?
Okay, so he's saying on January and those dates, so those first Saturdays in January, February, and March.
Yes, ma'am.
When you said that he was being aggressive and staring at you and coming close to you for some minutes, did he say anything to you or do anything to you?
Can you repeat the question, ma'am?
On those dates, on those first Saturdays, the events on those first Saturdays in January, February, and March, when he was there, did he say anything to you?
No, ma'am, but I would like to add that prior to those events, in the previous year, 2022, I'd already asked Mr. Solomon to leave me alone because we had gotten to altercations before. I already asked him to stay away from me before. So you're coming to an event that me and other promoters put on. So that within itself is stalking.
Okay, well,
I would like to think, ma'am.
I understand. It feels like stalking, and it may, but legally, I got to make that call. But I hear what you're saying. But he did not say anything. His question is, he didn't say anything to you or do anything to you.
So one event, I think it was in I think it was March also. I was selling merchandise, and he comes into my area when I'm selling merchandise as if he's going to buy something, just looking around, touching shirts, flipping them over, and just look me in the eye, and then just walks away.
Okay. All right. Next question.
Can I ask a question about something I skipped?
Yes.
About the time you came to Miss Sagui's house, did that same night that you busted her house and I was there, did you send me videos of you two in the bed?
This is in the District Court of Butler County, Kansas.
Is this the
Case
same night
entitled
as the
State of
tripping?
Kansas versus Joshua
As the
Malone
tripping,
Felkins.
yes, ma'am.
Allegation, whatever.
Case number 2020.
Miss Salguez's house, and didn't expect him to be there, but he was there. Did you, before you arrived there, send videos of you and Miss Salguez in bed to him?
No, ma'am.
It was hours after.
Oh, afterwards.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Did you send videos afterwards?
Yeah, I think I recall sending him a video that I was still at the house. But this, Your Honor, is painting motive of his obsession with either between me or Ms. Salguez. And I've tried to reason with this young man before about what his aggression is with me. And, it's a fine line we play in court to try to prove things that are not so obvious,
I know, that's why stalking is a very difficult crime to prove, and it's a very difficult burden for the petition, like we've talked in our other case.
Well, in
So,
this case in particular, I think if you listen to the recording and you hear Mr. Solomon say,
Mhm.
was you scared when I followed you home? And I quote, this will make this case a lot more easier.
he said that when you were talking with him.
Yes. Like, or I think don't quote me on the first part. I think he said, why you didn't kick my ass when I was following you home? Why you didn't do nothing then?
So my pause is just that you did instigate that conversation. That's one of the things I'm weighing in this. But I've also heard evidence so far of him interfering with your car at different points, knowing you don't want to have contact with him.
Yes,
So,
ma'am. I don't. I
all
think
right.
it's
Do you have any? Hold on. Do you have any other questions, sir?
Yes, ma'am. When he sent those videos to me the same night as the Miss Salguez tripping allegations, did his text say, "Thanks for letting me borrow your puss. Good looking out"?
Did you send a text that said something like that?
I have
Are you-
evidence of it too. I sent it in.
Hold on.
Are you painting context for the same night that I threw a woman through a wall? Which
Yes.
which narrative are you painting?
So that was his question that night, regardless of what narrative he's trying to paint. The question is, that night, did you also send a text saying, thanks for letting me, whatever, your puss?
I don't recall that, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Next question.
In the recording that you have, how long is it of our conversation?
I can't recall.
I have a recording of our conversation that you recorded. That's 22 minutes.
Okay.
Well, you judge, can you ask him, is the recording 22 minutes?
All right. Does 22 minutes sound right for the recording?
I can't recall, Your Honor.
Okay.
I don't see how long the length of the recording has to do with anything.
Well, it may have to do with ongoing communication between the parties.
Actually, Your Honor, the recording is a long recording, but the conversation is short because my phone was in my pocket, and the remainder of it was me driving, not realizing that I was still recording. So
Okay.
it very well could be 22 minutes. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Next question.
The night that we had the conversation that he recorded, did we have a physical altercation?
Did the night that he recorded,
The night
the
that he
night you
came
recorded, I hear you. The night you
Yes, ma'am.
recorded the conversation, sir, Mr. Griffin, did y'all have a physical altercation that night?
I feel like Mr. Solomon was way too close to me, and he impeded. You can hear it, he impeded on me several times leaving. He wouldn't let me close the door to my vehicle. He would not. And he kept wanting to make one last point several times over and over again in that conversation after I wanted to leave.
after he came to find me.
Okay. Okay. No comments, just questions for now.
On the
So let me answer. So was there a physical altercation on that occasion, Mr. Griffin?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Technically, ma'am, if I may, he
Mhm.
touched me too many times, and you can hear me. You can hear me on the recording saying, "Stop touching me."
Okay.
So in that regard, yes, it was physical.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Next question.
On the last Saturday that we saw each other at Amaza, where we had a physical altercation, who was the aggressor?
Around which date would this one have been?
I think this one may be May. That's what the video says that I have.
Okay. So the last time y'all had the physical, so you're not talking about the bar. You're
I'm not talking, that
about,
happened after the physical
That's what I
altercation, our
thought.
conversation.
Okay. So the last time before the bar, so that y'all had a physical altercation, who was the aggressor, sir? Mr. Griffin.
Mr. Solomon.
All right, next question.
Does he know for a fact that I was asked to not come back to those parties by security?
Okay, do you know for a fact that he was asked to not come back to the party by security?
This is what my
Do you
security told me, yes.
Sorry.
Who told you?
My security, yes.
Security told you that, confirmed that to you. Okay. Next question.
In the audio that he took secretly, did he say he was going to kill me first in the audio?
All right, in the audio, did you tell him you were going to kill him first?
Your Honor, you addressed that question one time already, and again, it's no.
Okay.
Does he know? Does he know about if I was giving him a scarf as a peace offering, the same way I tried to offer him a drink at the first concert.
So that's going to be speculation. You can testify to. So I'll ask him this: did you feel like the drink at the concert or the scarf on the car were a peace offering?
No, I did not. I felt like it was a threat. It's much easier just to articulate, hey man, I don't want any problems out of you. But that's never been the case.
All right, next question.
Have we been around each other multiple times and not had any problems?
No.
In what time frame?
In the last 2 years, we've been around each
Okay.
other.
So over the past 2 years, have y'all been around each other multiple times, Mr. Griffin, and not had any problems?
It's a problem almost every time.
Okay. All right, next question.
Has he seen the video from Amaza when he assaulted me?
All right, have you seen the video from Amaza where you assaulted the respondent,
Yes,
Mr.
I have.
Griffin?
Yes, I have.
Okay. All right, and what is on that video?
The portion of the angle has the part where he said something to me and I pushed him out the way. I mushed him in the face.
And y'all help me, because there's a bunch of different times and events and bars we're talking about. Is this the one where you said you found him at a bar, or is this a different?
No, it's a different time. The video
Okay.
he's talking about, ma'am, it just to speed up things and make it easier for you, ma'am. The video makes it look like I'm an aggressor, but it's only at one angle from one period of time.
All right, which occasion was this?
April 1st, if I'm not mistaken.
And when were the things left on your car?
June.
All right.
June and July.
All right. Okay, next question.
I think that might be it for me right now.
Okay. All right. All right, Mr. Griffin. At this point, we will turn this over to the respondent. Unless you have any witnesses you want me to hear from.
Will I have the opportunity to ask any questions?
You're gonna, yeah.
Okay. No, I don't. I'm fine.
Okay. All right, Mr. Solomon.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't believe there are any criminal charges pending at this time for anyone in this case. Is that correct?
Not on my end, no.
Okay. So at this point, what would you like the court? You can present any testimony or evidence that you wish to. What would you like the court to know, or do you have a witness or anyone that you want to testify?
I don't have a witness. I do have a witness statement I sent in about the last altercation that we had, but I can start from the beginning.
Okay, so witness statements really can't come in without a witness.
Okay.
So you can just tell me what you want me to know about the allegations that have been brought before the court.
So I'm gonna start pretty much where he started. Well, he's pretty much a bitter ex for some reason of Miss Salguiz.
Am I allowed to check that, Your Honor?
Sir, so here's the thing, sir, he can say, just like you can say, I understand it may feel accusatory at points, but I just ask that you remain civil.
Yes, ma'am.
I understand people are coming from different perspectives, and I do my best to resolve that,
Yes,
and weighing that. So just, I'll ask that you not interject or react while he's testifying, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. All right, go ahead, sir.
He's a bitter ex of Miss Salguiz. He's contacted me multiple times in 2021 when he supposedly didn't want to have contact. We have plenty of conversations in our text messages. Around the time of the concert, I didn't know he was going to be at that concert. It was an Earth Gang concert. I had no idea, no way to know he was going to be there. I don't think he had any way to know I was going to be there. I happened to see Mr. Griffin, and I had no problem with Mr. Griffin. Mr. Griffin has a problem with me from being a ex of Miss Salguiz. So when I saw Mr. Griffin, I offered him and his friend to buy them drinks. Mr. Griffin accepted a drink. I went and bought him a drink, and I gave him a drink to try to make a peace offering. When I offered him the drink, he said, "Yeah, bitch, I'll take a drink." I laughed, went and bought him a drink, and brought it back to him. Later on that night, when we saw each other leaving, we had an altercation.
So y'all got into a fight?
It was like a little tussle. It wasn't really a fight. It was more,
Okay.
honestly, it was more like an argument at first, and it was like a small, super small tussle. And
Okay.
that was it.
All right. Go ahead.
A couple days later, I saw him in Inman Park on Highland. This is still in 2022. I saw him. I spoke to him. He acted belligerent. He acted a fool. He acted wild, and to the point that security guard had to come over and tell him if he keeps acting that way, he would have to be tased.
So let me ask you this. Why did
Yes,
you
ma'am.
speak with him after y'all had a recent altercation?
He was sitting next to one of my good friends that rents a room for me right now.
Okay. But you still knew y'all had been in an altercation
Yeah,
and there were bad feelings,
I didn't have any bad feelings.
but you knew he did.
I didn't know that.
So, well, y'all got in a fight.
But we've
Right.
gotten into many back and forths and been fine
Okay. So
next time we see each other.
what do you said something to him. What did you
Yeah.
say to him?
I said, hey. It wasn't hey Griff or hey Mike. It was, I said hey to both of them. They were sitting together.
All right. And what happened?
He began to be irate, telling me that when he's somewhere, I can't be in that part of town. He don't mess with pussy ass niggas. Just being irate, just being belligerent.
Okay.
Until the security guard came
All right. And what
and
happened?
made him leave the premises.
Okay. So what's the next time you saw him?
That was earlier, when he busted in Miss Salgui's house and threw her into the wall. That was the same night that I was at Mrs. Salgui's house with multiple other people.
Okay. So you were there and he appears at the house, and what happened?
Yes, ma'am. And then when he bust in, I stood up because I just thought when he bust in, I thought it was gonna be like a physical altercation, which me and him didn't have a physical altercation at that time. He was telling Miss Salguis to come here. At first, she didn't come here. Then she reaches her arm out. He grabs her arm, slings her into a wall. And then, like Mr. Griffin said, our friend Mike hopped up and got Mr. Griffin out the house. And then after that, I went on the porch because Mr. Griffin was trying to get back in the house. That I stopped him. We stopped him from getting back in the house. And that's when he rushed me.
All right. Has any of the parties been drinking at this point,
Yes,
and or
both.
under other intoxicants?
No. Well, I'm
Okay.
speak for me, no.
Okay. All right. And so there was altercation that night.
Yes, ma'am.
So what happened next?
Then I have video of Miss Salgui's security camera showing him outside of her door screaming, telling her
Is
to
it
let
that
him
same night?
in. Same night.
Okay.
Where his friend Sarah is saying, "Hey Griff, you got to leave. The police are on the way."
Okay. So what
To me-
happened after? Go ahead.
To me, I was just saying to me that I don't think his friend would be yelling, "Hey, the police are getting ready to come," if she tripped.
Okay. Well, again, I'm in this case, whether she it may go towards impeachment and credibility of witness statements, but I'm
Right.
concerned with acts of stalking, not whether this other person was actually assaulted or not. But it does go to mutual contact, which is one of the things I'm trying to sort. So, okay. So what happened after that night?
3 days later, or later that night, that's when Mr. Griffin sends me 2 videos of him and Miss Salguis in the bed together, and sends me that text of, "Thanks for letting me borrow your puss last night. Good looking." And I sent that in also. I sent the videos and I sent the text,
All right.
screenshot of the text.
All right. Madam Clerk, do you have any of those documents?
I'm showing a video. I haven't located the text, but I do see a video.
All
It
right.
was like
you
a
can
screenshot of a text. It looks like a picture. It has 2 clown emojis.
Did you want to see the video or not?
if he has it, if you have it, that's fine.
Oh, this is a video of Mr. Griffin throwing Miss Salguis against the outside of her house.
Is this the same night?
This is not the same night. No,
All right, we can take this down. Were you there for this?
I was not.
Okay, so I'm not gonna consider that. All right. So it sounds like when did you send these things in?
I sent those in maybe 2 days ago
Okay,
to the email.
to the email? All right,
Yes,
Madam
ma'am.
Clerk, if you can check, it's well after 5 at this point, so, but keep telling me, what, and Madam Clerk, you can just interject if you see anything, but keep telling me,
So
so,
I sent
go ahead.
some things in. I failed to put the case number on it. I just put my name.
All right, well, she'll look at that. So you said
Yeah.
that you sent, there was a screenshot of that video, I mean, of that text that was sent to you later that night. So
Yes,
what's the next communication or interaction you had with him?
The communication I tried to send back, but he blocked me was, I don't know or care. You're spiraling.
Okay, so what
So I
happened after
wasn't-
that?
You said what now, ma'am?
So I hear that, so I'm saying like after that date,
Uh-huh.
what is the next communication, if any, that
We've
when y'all
seen each
interacted?
other multiple times after that and had no confrontations or whatnot. We've seen each other those same dates in January, February, and March, because all that I said about being at Miss Salwee's house happened in 2022. So the
Okay.
beginning of 2023, when I was going to the parties, I had no idea who was going to be there.
Okay, let me ask you this. Did you understand that he didn't want you there? Were you ever told to leave?
No, we didn't talk. Those first 2 or 3 times we was at the parties, we never had any conversation.
Okay, so
And
there
we
was
never had any physical altercation.
So 2022 was the physical altercation you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
And then January, February, March, you show up where he's at those events.
Yes, ma'am.
And so what happened next?
The first 2 or 3, we had no problem. We didn't talk to each other. We didn't speak to each other. We didn't talk. We didn't touch each other. We didn't hang out in the same groups talking. We didn't do anything. Then it was another event that he's talking about, I think he spoke on, where we were fine, and then he started calling me out my name.
All right, where were you at and what?
We were at one of those parties at Amaza at the same event that we didn't
Okay.
have any problems beforehand, but this time he wanted to have a problem.
So what happened? What was said?
He was just looking at me, calling me a bitch ass nigga, calling me a weird ass nigga. And that's what happened there. And then later that night, one of his friends wanted to fight me and tried to fight me. And then Mr. Griffin tried to jump in.
So were you trying to, did security get involved for any of this?
Not at that time, not until later.
Later that night?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so what happens?
Nothing. I mean, I just left. That was it.
So security did at some point tell you to leave?
No, the DJ asked me to leave.
Okay.
Who we mutually know. We both know. And I just want to say, none of these events are any of his personal events. None of these events are a birthday of his or a baby shower or a anniversary. These are just parties open to the public. And I know,
Okay, but are they his company?
no.
Okay. All right, so next time you see him, when is it?
And can I put that every one of those parties I went to, I was invited by somebody that works for the company that throws the parties.
Okay. Okay. When's the next time y'all had contact?
I think we saw each other at two other bars. Saw each other at Flatiron.
Okay, who was there first?
I was there first.
And what happened?
He walked in, I looked over. I went like this. He looked at me and said, "Fuck you." And then that was it. We sat there for maybe another 15 minutes away from each other, and then he left. Maybe 15, 20 minutes, and then he left.
Okay.
I saw him again at a bar called Manny's in Grant Park. I was there first. I was watching a UFC fight. He happened to walk in. We didn't speak to each other. We didn't say anything. I didn't say hi. He didn't say hi. We didn't speak to each other at all. Maybe 20 minutes later, he left.
All right, next.
Then I think the next time I saw him was another one of those Amaza parties that we didn't have any altercations in at first, and then we had one, and then I didn't see him for a while. I went back because I was invited again, and I had talked to the security at a different event that does security at both events. I talked to the DJ that throws events. Nobody said I was banned. I asked the DJ personally. He said no. So when I came to the next event I was invited to, this is when I have the video of Mr. Griffin striking me. And I have an email from one of the 2 ladies I was talking to. I had my back turned to him. He strikes me. As he says, he mushed me in the face. He said that. And then we fought. And even after that, I talked to the DJ who throws the party. he apologized to me because I was attacked by Mr. Griffin. And he apologized because he says his parties isn't the place for that. And I sent in the video of him striking me, and you said I can't use it, but I sent in a email of one of the ladies I was talking to in the video that says my back was turned to Mr. Griffin and he struck me.
All right, Ms. Broom, do you have any other evidence?
No, Judge, at this time, I only have 2 videos. I can, they can send it to my email address.
Okay.
But right now, I'm just showing the 2 videos, F and G.
Okay, it may have, did you get any confirmation that they received it, Mr. Solomon?
I did. And then I
Did they
tried to
say it needs-
resend it and I didn't get any confirmation after those.
Okay,
Yeah, he
did they
got
say,
confirmation for F and G, but he didn't get any more.
okay, did they say it needed to be in PDF form? It was too
Uh,
big?
I don't know. I mean, it seemed like it went through, but
Okay. All right, while we're doing that, so there was another fight. What happened next? When was the next occasion?
the next occasion is when he was speaking on us being in the same area of Kill Me Crazy. I was across the street. Did not know he was in the other place. Don't even remember, honestly, don't even remember seeing him or having any altercation with him that night that he's speaking on. I don't remember leaving a cup on his car. Maybe I did, but I
So
didn't.
it seemed, so here's the thing.
Mhm.
I've heard testimony about things being left on his car in a couple of different places, one of which you somewhat admitted to asking about whether the scarf was a
The
piece.
scarf, yes, ma'am.
So there's clearly a lot of bad feelings between the two of you. I know you say you don't have any, but you know he does. And so, and you know what his car looked like. So why are you leaving stuff on his car?
I was trying to give a peace offering, man, because we are in the same locations all the time, and a lot of times we don't have any altercations. Sometimes we've talked and had no aggression and no confrontations.
When's the last time y'all talked and had no confrontations?
The last time I saw him before he did when he made the recording, when he asked a third party where I was, came to find me, and we had a conversation, and he recorded it.
So he admits he came into the bar to talk to you.
Yes, ma'am.
How did that conversation start?
He came in the bar. He said, "Hey, let's talk." I said, "Yeah, all right, cool." We go outside, and he's claiming that he's scared of me, but we go outside willingly. He asked me to come outside, away from people. I guess because I don't know, he was recording, but we walked away by ourselves. And we had a conversation. I have a recording of it. It's like 22 minutes, but we talked for like 45 minutes.
Mhm. And what was your understanding of the gist of that conversation?
The gist of it, he was asking me, why do I keep bothering him?
Mhm.
But in the conversation, I asked him, why does he get aggressive with me when we're around each other for no reason? Like, I wasn't the aggressor in any of those physical altercations. I wasn't the person that started any of those physical altercations.
What about his bumper?
I didn't do anything to his. He had stickers all over his bumper. I didn't do anything to his bumper.
Because you said you left a scarf.
I left a scarf, yeah.
And he
A
said
packaged up scarf that was folded. It didn't have anything written on the scarf that was bad or like anything with his name on it saying F you or anything like that.
Mhm.
It was a scarf, just like how I try to offer him a drink. Most times if I see him, I try to offer him something to be nice to him. And that was it. I didn't bust a window. I didn't put sugar in his tailpipe. I didn't flatten a tire. I didn't do anything like that.
Okay. So it just happens that it was tagged with your company.
He already has a sticker of me on the back of his car.
Okay.
I didn't put that sticker there. And it's a
Alright.
sticker of my face.
Okay.
I didn't put that there. It's been there for years.
All right. Okay. Anything else you want the court to know or any witnesses will see? Ms. Broom, do you have anything?
No, Judge.
All right. Anything else you want the court to know, Mr. Solomon?
I just want the court to know that we were acquaintances. This is not anything other than somebody that is a bitter ex. And he's mad at me for whatever reason. Same reason he took out Same thing on Miss Salgui's. And really, he's aggressive most of these events.
Well,
And,
I've seen some video that, you know, there have been crimes committed by other parties. It may not have been stalking, but there's been some things happen that I've seen.
Right.
So there's definitely some volatility between the parties at this point.
for sure.
And you said he came to talk to you and said he wants you to stop bothering him.
Right. I
Um,
said the same about him striking me. If he's so scared of me, we had an altercation before we talked, and he struck me while my back was turned.
Okay. All right.
And I
Okay.
sent in video of that.
All right. At this point, Mr. Griffin, you can follow up with any final statements you would like the court to know.
Statements or questions?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, you get started. It's later in the day.
I know.
Yes, before that, you are allowed to ask any questions. So ask me any questions specifically about what he's testified to.
I'd like to know, first time he recalled me asking him to leave me alone. That
All
I
right,
didn't
when-
want any dealings with him.
When's the first time that Mr. Griffin asked you to leave him alone and he didn't want to have any dealing with you?
I have no idea.
Do you remember him saying that at all?
Probably we both said it.
Okay. All right,
In
next question.
text and on phone conversation.
Okay.
So now he's saying we both said it, but at some point in time, yet and still he comes and try to with some sort of resolve or whatnot. The concert in June 2020. Do you recall me asking you to leave me alone before the concert?
No, and it wasn't 2020. It was
2022, I said.
Okay, 22.
Yes, June
Yeah, 'cause-
2022. But during the concert, do you recall me saying that leave me alone before the concert?
No,
However, you wanted to give me a peace offering for what reason?
All right, why did you want to give him a peace offering?
because we've had conversations. I have many conversations from 2021 and 22 of us talking about this situation. Not saying he wants me to leave him alone, but we've had conversations.
All right,
I like to know what were we not at peace with?
what were y'all not at peace with?
Because he's a bitter ex. And I was hanging out with Miss Salgui's.
Okay. I want to reference April, first Saturday in April. There was an altercation at the Mazda. And you stated I was calling you out of your name and whatnot, right?
So the first Saturday in April at the altercation at Amaza, was you said that he was calling you out, calling him out by his name?
Calling
Or
me
he
out
was
of my
calling
name.
you
Yes,
out by
ma'am.
your name? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
How did you come within proximity of me?
How did you get to be near him?
I was sitting outside on picnic tables with other people.
I would like to know where I was in that equation, Your Honor.
All right. Okay. So where was he in relation to the picnic table and people you were sitting with?
Maybe he was by the front door of a Mazda, maybe 20 feet away. I don't know.
So how was I able to talk to him 20 feet away?
How
20 feet is
was
Was I
he
yelling
able-
across the room? Was I yelling across the room?
Okay.
Was
Did
I-
he yell out to you from 20 feet away at the door of Amaza?
He didn't yell. No, 20 feet isn't that far.
Okay. So he was at the door when he made these comments
He-
to you?
Yes, ma'am. He was outside. He was outside. We were all outside.
Just to confirm, I was by the door and he was sitting down on the patio, correct?
Yes.
Can you explain how we got physical at that point
How did it become physical at that point?
if we're not by each other?
Well, he was talking, and I walked up to him and asked him to repeat what he was saying.
Okay. And this was after I've asked you to leave me alone, correct?
I don't remember you ever asked me to leave you alone.
Oh, I thought you had told Your Honor that we've asked each other to leave as long as at some point.
We've had
Yeah.
discussions about a lot.
So
Okay.
you did say that you had both over different times asked the
Mhm.
other to leave each other alone.
But this
So
is
when you approached him, why did you approach him?
because he was talking to me, and this is after we've been in the same area multiple times with no problems.
Okay.
Because if you remember, this is April, and we've been around each other in January, February, and March with no incident.
At the same incident, did I have sunglasses on that you chose to remove from my face?
At that incident, did he have sunglasses on that you removed from his face?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you do that?
He was getting aggressive with me.
How was he getting aggressive with you?
He was putting his hands on me.
How?
On my chest while we were talking.
I'm just kind of confused with the proximity, Your Honor, where I was saying about a door and he's saying he was on the table, but he came up to
You, to
see what I was saying.
Hold on.
Mhm.
So we don't need to repeat everything. He said he was at the table. He said you started speaking to him. He walked up to you after you talked to him, and he said you put your hands on his chest and he grabbed your glasses off of your face.
Yes,
Right,
ma'am.
I can receive that. So basically, knowing that I want nothing to do with Mr. Solomon, he still came within arm's reach of me.
You were
Knowing
talking
that
to me.
I've asked to leave these alone.
So knowing that he has told you he doesn't want anything to do with you, you came within arm's reach of him. Is that
If he
right?
yes, ma'am. If he wants nothing to do with me, why is he talking to me?
Okay. Next question.
If you saying that we have spoken about leaving each other alone and not wanting to deal with each other, why would you come to the event that me and my constituents would put on?
Okay,
I
hold
was
on.
told-
Let me ask it. So I know you hear it. Yeah. Since you knew he had said at some point that he didn't want anything to do with you, why did you go to an event that his constituents put on?
Well, they're mutual people that we know, and I was invited every time that I came by somebody that actually works with the company that
Okay.
throws the parties.
All right. Next question.
I'm fine, Your Honor.
All right. All right. Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
All right. All right, Mr. Solomon, do you have any other witnesses or evidence?
I just have what I sent in. I tried to send.
Yeah, I don't know if it's there.
I mean, I thought I heard Ms. Broom, so I could send it to her email, but I don't
Yeah.
know her email.
I sent it to you in the chat.
You know,
when we
send
was
it to me.
talking. Yes. Look in your chat.
What's my chat? I don't know what that is. Is that a Zoom thing?
All right,
Um,
here's,
Okay, I see
yeah,
it. I see
oh,
it.
do you see it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we'll see. And then I'll see where we're at.
and make sure it's not too large for us to play it.
Yes, ma'am. Can I send, is it just the one video you want? Do you want the bed videos and also?
No, I mean, it's 9 o'clock. All of this could, yeah, if you didn't get a confirmation, here's what I'm going to tell the parties. The stalking is a continued course of conduct over a period of time without mutual communications between the parties. Mr. Griffin, I think this one was a little bit closer call for me, given that there have been videos of someone coming to their car. But I have concerns about the person who is complaining about making contact with the other party. That's where the law has concerns about it. I understand, again, why you said you did it, but someone can't claim someone's stalking them and then go to that person and engage them. Okay, that's kind of where things stopped. It also goes to reasonable fear in the future. And if there's two parties aggressively going at each other, there really needs to be a no communication for a finding of stalking. One party can't seek out the other and then complain about that person's having contact with them. But like I said, I understand you're saying you did that because you wanted to confront what had been going on. But the law considers that a problem and a disruption of the course of conduct of stalking. So mainly because of that recent finding him at the bar that he's at and having that conversation with him. I am, from what I've heard today, I'm not going to issue the 12-month order. But I will say again that that doesn't preclude any criminal charges in the future. If you continue to not engage Mr. Solomon,
Yes, ma'am.
and then he still is aggressive with you and you have not made any contact, you haven't spoken to him, you haven't sent him any messages, then you may have grounds for a stalking order. But at this point, and so Mr. Solomon, I think you are very aware now that he's serious about not wanting contact. I know he came and talked to you at the bar, but you know, you could be opened up to future criminal charges as well as a refiling of a petition if there's any future contact that is not engaged by Mr. Griffin.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Griffin, me dismissing this order does not mean that you cannot pursue any criminal or charges or small claims court for anything that's gone on. And it also doesn't mean you can't refile if there's future stalking course of conduct that you are not engaging in any conduct with. Okay.
Your Honor, what's the line between trespassing and stalking?
Trespassing is if somebody comes onto your property or messes with your property in a way that interferes with your use of it.
Mhm.
So an officer can say criminally trespass someone from coming onto someone's property, and if they come back onto that property, they can be arrested.
All right. And so-
But stalking is a course of conduct over a period of time where the person who's allegedly being stalked does not initiate contact. Okay.
Your Honor, is there any way we can petition to extend this? Because I got evidence of him stating that I sent in and submitted of him admitting to following me.
So,
multiple
sir, I
times.
heard that, but the problem is the last contact between y'all was you going to a bar where he was at on purpose to have a confrontation with him.
So like these proceedings can become extremely great. It puts me and my family in a situation, Your Honor.
So here's the thing, you can pursue criminal charges and but here's the thing, if you had not gone into that bar, I may have been able to find stalking, but because you instigated a confrontation with the person that you're saying you were in reasonable fear of, I cannot find that today. Okay. You can reach out to the police if you're in fear for your safety. You can file criminal charges again, or small claims if you feel like you have evidence that he's the one who did that to your vehicle. But at this point, this is not the remedy that fits based on the evidence that I heard. Now, if you don't have any contact with him and he continues, you may be able to refile and you may succeed. Okay, as long as you have not sought him out and engaged him. Okay. So I know that's not what you wanted to hear, but I am bound by what the law allows me to do and the evidence that's presented to me at this time. As I said, stalking is the highest burden for protective orders. And because I've heard information of a couple of times of instigated contact by you to him as well, that I cannot issue the order today. All right. Thank you all. I hope things get better going forward.
Thank you.